What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another video. And filming this over the week after Thanksgiving. Got a little bit of a cold, voice is kind of weird, so if it feels like there's a different person narrating every video, that's probably why. But yeah, just going at a consistent pace here, so whatever happens, happens, and you're gonna get a few videos with this voice, so there's not a team, just me. Anyway, working on bench here. And, we're in the past, we're still in the fall here when we're lifting. So this winter stuff, I know a lot of us tend to get sick and kind of go from there too, whatever. But that's kind of the cool thing. You get to kind of see like the meshing of both worlds or whatever. And then, kind of think back on what training was like. Because in the moment it's different than when you looking back on it, at this point in time. So I think bench has been moving pretty well, pretty consistent. Regardless of season. There have been some times where I've had some bicep tendonitis or just overuse in the shoulder and stuff, so addressing all that. But we are consistently benching over 275 almost every workout, which is nice. And ideally, trying to break into the 300 over consistently when I need to. And it's mainly based off recovery and also bench. I don't really like this bench. The other one's got a thicker pad. It's easier to kind of drive into and get a little bit more, support and stress there too. So you can see I've got the band on the bench just from the sliding, the texture of the shirts I wear. Again, not the fanciest stuff, just whatever's cheap and able to throw on here. But it does make a difference when you're driving, you're using your leg drive to propel that weight and then the upper body to kind of finish it. And so you're not seeing consistent pushing, but there is tension in the lower body. And if you're driving yourself in that direction, you're going to fly off the bench. So that's why you want to make sure you've got those points of contact so that you've got that tension and you can do what you need to do. So it's different. Every bench has a different texture, but there are things that you can do in order to mitigate that, like the band. You can put like a yoga mat or whatever, or something else too. So OHP, still the bane of my existence right now. Just things haven't been feeling right. So we've been just hovering around, the 150 plus range or whatever. And until I can figure out, not even my groove, but like exactly where I want to go with it, I'm still including it. It's still an important exercise, but I just don't have that connection that I had before previous. And I'm going to keep doing it. And I think eventually it will all click and come back. I just need to keep building these motor patterns, and I think that's a skill that we sometimes forget when we're performing a movement. If it doesn't feel good one week, it's not always, it's not always a form thing. It could just be recovery or whatever, or just fatigue. But in my head, I'm always trying to like replay and figure out what's going on. So I'm constantly problem solving, trying to figure out what I can do, moving my grip in, out, wider, narrower, closer to me, farther away from me. It just depends. We'll make some changes, and when that starts to feel good, that's our feedback. That's probably the way we need to go. So again, nothing too crazy. Just I don't want to put myself in any sort of position where I can get injured. So I'm more than happy to take my time and pace myself and do whatever I need to do. So usual, we're moving in here to the lower body day. And again, still using the squat bar, just a lot easier, getting better at maintaining that upper body base and then being able to control on the way down. So sometimes there is some bounce and catch or whatever, and I'll get back to where I need to be. I'm making some changes in my stance and stuff, and eventually squats will start to click and we'll get to where we need to be. I just need to play around a little bit more and just build my comfort. Sometimes when I take time away from squats or go heavy, there's other factors that play here. Sometimes the deadlift workout or other things just don't feel good, and it sucks. I wish we could all come into every workout fully recovered, but that's not always the case. So you make do with what you have and then be able to shift and trade focus if something isn't working the way it should. So that's the name of the game. As long as we're following some sort of trajectory in our program, we're making progress. I don't mind having to take my foot off the gas. I think I've used that a couple times too. when things don't feel good. Sometimes when you push things, injuries happen. So I'm really just trying to make sure that I can keep doing what I'm doing, keeping the risk of injury low, and then just trying to get more technical. You know, there's other ways that you can pick up any extra slack you may have had in your squats. There's other machines and other things you can do to kind of build that back together and have a more complete workout and go from there. So, but yeah, it's not terrible. I'm glad I'm able to squat and then able to do whatever I need to do. I'm going to keep doing it. So making little changes in this workout, I went particularly a little bit narrow, even though I just kind of widened my stance there. And sometimes my hips, if you're too narrow, it's really hard to spread your hips and sink into the hole and get to depth. But then there's a point where if I'm too wide, it kind of hits my hamstrings and hip flexors, doesn't feel good. And then deadlifts, we're still trying to pull over 500 consistently, and there are some issues. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is. It's mainly at lockout, but I'm going to keep working on it and try to figure this out. I think a lot of it's just confidence. I messed around with the swing squat here. Like I said, if I feel like I didn't get a sufficient workout with the barbell squat, I'll do something else to get full range, stretch, and you know, this is like a super extreme squat movement and you get a really nice quad pump. So that was nice, but you have to be careful because you go too far forward. I think a couple times I've not hurt my knee, but I've hyperextended it to a point where it didn't feel very good. So it's something I have to watch, but every now and then I'll just incorporate them and see, you know, how it feels. You can just do your leg extension, or there's also like a hack squat and other stuff you can do too. So it depends on whatever you enjoy doing. Sometimes a machine will not get the position that you want, and it could cause pain or discomfort. I think a lot of people with like the set hack squats where you can't, you know, judge, or this one, there's one at the gym where you can change the uprightness, almost like an incline bench. Sometimes if you're too upright, it's very unforgiving and it's hard to force yourself into that range of motion. It may not be comfortable. So you really just have to figure out, you know, kind of what works best for you, whatever. But there's another workout in the books. Hopefully this voice covers up because do sound kind of cool, but yeah, a little uncomfortable. All right, like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.
Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.